Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, if you have if you have it shrunk down to where that so that to get that escape button or the I know. Yeah, I know. Every time I'm like, what? Dude, half the time, do you know how many times I've like literally closed down Discord because I'm like thinking that that's that menu? Yeah, and then I close it down. I'm like, motherfucker. All right, so the topics that I have right now, obviously, discuss the top 24, see what we think on those. Uh, college football expansion, like the playoff expansion, um, kind of where we think, what we think on that, one way or the other between the two different coinciding um, potential plans, and then discussing and picking our team's um, records. So what we'll finish. I think that'll probably be the last one. Um, if you guys have a different topic you want to bring up, we can slot one in still.
Good.
I was gonna say I was just looks like Max Johnson as of right now, but yeah, because Max Johnson was the transfer. Yeah, and got hurt last right. Yeah, yeah, he got hurt like right at the start of last year. Ugh. Okay. I was trying to make sure that the music was still playing when I do the startup. Huh? No, the that whatever the free music. I mean, I still sometimes if we'll get some partial strike, but not full. Go lay down. My dog thinks he's fucking skinny little shit and can lick his fucking dick, but he can't. He's sitting there crawling like on his butt trying to fucking lick himself, and it's like, motherfucker, just go lay down. You're not skinny enough anymore. Yeah, I mean, I know obviously what Texas, Ohio State. I haven't looked at all of them though. Yeah. Well, I know there's what games basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I had looked at that because I think I was looking at the betting shit. I already bet Nebraska in the overs, so I had I had $10 promo bucks, so I was like, fuck it, I'll put the $10 promo bucks on Nebraska, and I mean I bet $10 to win 16, so it's like yeah, whatever. Yeah, yeah,
We got some nice ranked on ranked matchups for that first week.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
got 1 versus 3 with Texas and
would
Ohio State.
would they all be ranked? Would they all be ranked on ranked? Shouldn't be ranked on anybody because there shouldn't be like preseason rankings.
Oh, oh. Yeah, Clemson, LSU, Miami plays somebody. I think it's a Sunday game. I thought they also had a yeah, they play Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then another kind of intriguing game. It's not ranked on ranked, but you got Bama and Florida State. Because for me, you just don't know what you're getting from either one of those teams, right? Like Bama losing their quarterback and this coach, and then Florida State being so bad. Go ahead.
Jordan Travis or
Ugalele?
who?
Okay. Before that, Jordan Travis. Because then that other kid kind of took over for him after he got hurt.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Yeah.
he transferred there last year.
Mm-hmm. I said it, and I think you guys kind of agreed with me. I think they went all in, or like all in on that year. They went 13-0 or whatever, and they didn't set themselves up for the future years through recruiting. They just went all in the transfer portal, and yeah, it worked for that 1 year. But then look what happened last year. It's like they didn't have the depth to full in behind that, like these other teams say, yeah, they're going to hit the portal, but they're also got some nice, recruiting classes coming in to kind of keep it going. And I kind of think it's going to be the same thing this year with them. I don't know though. I really don't like. I mean, we could talk about it on the stream or whatever if that's even something we bring up. I'm not a big fan of their coach, and not because he's a Florida State coach. I just don't like his. I just don't think he's the man for the job. There is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I mean, we could
I
talk
mean, I
about that
know
on
he did.
stream because we could talk about that during the rankings too.
Okay, yeah.
When
So
we're
I know he
talking
did
about certain
other
teams.
stops, but Florida State should be a year in and year out top 10 team. That's my opinion. Florida State and Miami both.
Well, especially recruiting wise.
Exactly.
I mean, Florida State right now is 15 though, so
They are,
they're not far off. But
but I don't know how.
yeah,
Why are they ranked 15? That's what we always say. It's like how, like, just I don't get it. All of a sudden they're 50. So you're telling me like just all of it? I mean, I don't think they ended the season off very well. We beat them. They didn't make a bowl
yeah.
game.
Mm-mm.
So, but I mean, it is what it is.
They only had 2 wins. Of course,
That's
they
what I'm
didn't.
saying.
I mean,
Right? We all have our reserves about this ranking, why we rank these teams so soon. And I was been thinking about it really hard today. I think we should just rank the top 12. And then everybody else should be how far are you away from being ranked, because that's all that really matters in the grand scheme of things. Especially when
right.
like a lot of people don't even play in their bowl games no more. So who cares who's ranked past that? I think so.
Recruiting.
Oh, Florida is.
Florida State's 15 in recruiting.
Oh, got you. Okay, I thought you meant they were ranked 15th. I don't know the rankings except for Florida. Like I know Texas is one, and then a few, but I don't know the rest. Like I didn't know the whole list.
Yeah.
I got you. E. I see recruiting.
All right, let's jump in here. Even though my dog's still fucking going crazy.
Are you both streaming? Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
see you. Okay, I see you both.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode. Been a long time of Cause and Effect Sports. We are back with our fall preview, going over kind of now that the top 25 has been released, we'll go over that. We'll jump into some of the college football playoff expansion talk, and then we'll deep dive on our teams. Both North Carolina, Florida, and Nebraska, and give our kind of where we think they'll finish record-wise, kind of go over some of those games, especially the key games on our schedule and so on and so forth. So we got myself, we got Parrot, we got Humble here today. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, sir.
Right? I got a little whining dog, so I mean we got both best of both worlds right now. Yep. So getting into it, we'll jump off right away with kind of the college football expansion, then we'll jump into the top 25. College football expansion, playoff, obviously. I think most people want to expand to the 16 teams, but a lot of the talk has been kind of what is going to be the best path. I think originally there was a lot of talk between both the SEC and the Big Ten for the automatic qualifiers, as they call it, the AQ model, which would be 4 teams for both the SEC and the Big Ten, 2 from the ACC and 2 from the Big 12. Then you'd have basically 1 automatic qualifier for potentially like Notre Dame, and then as well as a group of 5 uh, champion would be an automatic qualifier, and then the rest would be just basically next seeded up. So that's one model. The other is basically the top 4 conferences both get a team in. So Big Ten, their conference championship, SEC, Big 12, ACC, all get 1 qualifier as well as a group of 5, and then everybody else is picked by the committee. Stop it, Captain. Jesus Christ. So what are your guys' thoughts on those? I mean, the SEC's kind of moved away from the automatic qualifier to the 5 and 11. And I think the ACC and Big 12 are kind of in that same idea on that.
I guess the more football we get, the better. The more meaningful football, I guess. Because the teams that make the playoffs, we're gonna get probably a better product than other bowl games where players sit out, whatever. So I'm not against the 16 model. I would kind of like to see them if they're going to expand even farther, and let's give the other divisions a chance. Say we give like they do in basketball, so the FCS and then the Division II, they get a playing game, maybe against the bottom feeders of those say it's 16. One plays the 16 team, the other plays say the 15 team, and they get a play-in game to be in the playoffs. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay. I mean, even if you look at like the group of five, for example, right? Um, kind of in essence to what you're talking about. Well, let's say there's you know potentially four teams that would be viable for that group of five spot. Um, maybe conference championship week. And this would be one thing is I mean, you could eliminate conference championships, like the actual game, and do this where they would play in, or potentially the week after conference championships when it's just Army and Navy, they could do their play in to get that group of five spot. You know what I'm saying? So something similar to that, I would be okay with. Um, Parrot, what do you think on the two different models? Kind of what would you like to see? Do you want more of the automatic qualifier, or having the committee pick, or what? Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I could see them. Yeah, I could see there being a potential where you drop maybe one of the non-conference, and go to more of an 11 game regular season schedule or something to that effect because of the playoff system. Um, mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I prefer grass fields, but one of the things that I like I prefer the automatic qualifying. And the reason for this, I have two different reasons for it. One, the potential, like the Big Ten has came out and said basically how they would do it is on basically the conference championship game weekend, so that same day or whatever. Um, Basically the number one, number two play, right? So they're playing for the conference championship, and both of those teams are automatically in with the AQ. And then three plays six, and four plays five. So the sixth best team in the conference would still have a chance to make the automatic would still have a chance to make the actual college football playoff in that model. Um, Now, as I mean, they've said obviously is essentially the last what two, I think it's two spots, um would be up for grabs for you know a potential ACC or a potential any conference essentially. So it could be ACC, it could be Big Ten, Big 12, SEC. It doesn't matter. Um, Whereas I don't know. I look at the basketball side and looking at the tournaments and um seeing how the committees choose teams, and I guess that's probably what's put salt in my wounds and why I don't want to go that route of doing a committee, um basically selecting the 11 other best teams type thing. So that would be the only reason I'm against that 5 and 11. I mean, realistically, the Big Ten and I guess the 5 and 11. The other reason I'm against it is some kind ACC. I think ACC, Big 12, and Big Ten all play 9 conference games. So that's another issue, but that's a completely different issue. So I don't know. The way it's sounding is they're not going to get to a resolution this year, at least not as of right now. They'd have to come to a decision by December on it, which I just don't necessarily see happening. So with no decision on it, then we'll revert back to the 12-team playoff for 2026 next year, and then we'd be having the same combo next year, essentially. So I don't know.
Any way we could take the human element out of picking the teams is the best. Because imagine if the NFL was like that. Imagine in the NFL you had a group of peers who just selected who made the playoffs instead of earning it on the field.
Right.
It's like, and I get it. These guys, maybe they do their homework, but like, are the AP voters doing their homework and watching all these games? And really
they're not
ranking
watching
these
every
guys
game
the way they should be ranked. Exactly. So, like, is the committee watching every game all year, or are they just waiting to the end and like, we need to focus on? Because we already know these 4 have planted themselves in. We don't have to watch them. But then there's these other guys we got to start paying attention to now. And then if you're on you should be watching it all. Like, right? I mean, if you're on the committee, that should be like priority.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Not sneaking up on people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, as far as and I humble. That's part of the reason why I agree with the AQ. Now the automatic qualifier, and now the issue with it, and I know why the ACC and Big 12 are against it. Obviously, they get 2 teams when the SEC and that Big 10 would get 4 each. So I get it, but year in and year out, who are the top 2 conferences? Is plain and simple. It's the Big 10 and the SEC are the top 2 conferences in college football. Um, from top to bottom. Now, Big 12, don't get me wrong, they're coming up. They are a very they don't have any, I wouldn't say top tier teams, but they have a lot that are equal. Because that conference right now, I mean, you could select 1 out of 9 different teams potentially to win the championship. So it's a very deep, even conference. ACC, you typically have your what 3, 4. Well, I would say SMU, Clemson, Miami. Yeah, a lot of the talks has been North. A lot of the other talk has been North Carolina as the dark horse. And that I think is all Belichick driven. So, um, right. That's just looking and going. Oh, they got Belichick. Well, they're going to be a dark horse. like, um, yeah, yeah. I think that
Yeah,
would be really good. Yeah. Well, USC's. I mean, a surprise at number one. Like they've just skyrocketed. They have 32 commits right now.
talking about like last year's classes coming into this year. Okay.
I don't think they would die. I think South Carolina was high last year. I can bring up. Um,
According to 247, Texas was 1, Georgia was 2, Bama 3, Ohio State 4,
Auburn, Auburn
Oregon
out of.
5,
I mean, yeah,
Michigan
Auburn I
6,
think was the
Florida
big jump.
7, Auburn 8. Florida also did a giant jump. They're doing it again this year
But
too, but we'll see if they can sustain it.
yeah, I was gonna say Auburn hasn't been. They have their years where they're up there. Um, Missouri at 16.
Mm.
They were high early. Yeah, Georgia Tech was high early because they had a lot of commits early, and then they kept falling because teams, as it got closer to signing period, that's when they got more commits. But yeah, they were in the I want to say in the top 10 about halfway through the year. I mean one team in the big Big Ten that is a potential sleeper. I think they got oh, preseason ranked in the Big Ten like 11th out of 16 is Washington. Um, I think yeah, I think they're going to be a better team um, than a lot think. Now, the team that I think is going to be potentially lower than their preseason rank in the Big Ten is Illinois. I think they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a solid team. But they're picked to finish, I think, fourth in the Big Ten. And they might finish. I'm not saying that like they're going to be out of the like top 10 of the Big Ten. Um, but last year, I think they had 9 wins last year, but like 5 of them were by one score. So they had a lot of those games that went their way. I think some of those flipped this year. So I could see them finishing with like a 7-win season. So I mean, obviously not a drastic drop, but something to that effect. So as far as I mean, we're kind of now we're getting into some conference rankings, so we can jump into the top 25. Little disparity in the coaches versus the AP poll.
Yeah, yeah. I was just waiting to get a chance. Like
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have storylines that I'm interested in. Like how is Arch Manning going to do in Texas?
Oh yeah.
Sitting all that time, and I respect him for doing it, not chasing the bag somewhere else. Now, yeah, he
Yep.
was getting paid at Texas, but I respect that. So what's he going to be like? What's Miami going to be like with Carson Beck? I'm like intrigued. What's Ole Miss going to be like without Jackson Dart? So I have like individual storylines. Bama, what are they going to be like without that? The running quarterback. Will they be better now that they have right? Maybe now they have a traditional. Yeah, he might still be athletic, but like a guy who's going to be a better passer. And then in Florida,
he's not
DJ
4-4. He's not a 4-4 guy.
Right? And then Florida with if DJ Lagway stays healthy, I mean, sky's the limit. So I have like individual storylines. Sleepers though, maybe SMU and Kansas State for me. Because Kansas State, I think their quarterback's going into his 3rd year now, right? Avery Johnson, that really athletic kid.
Yep.
Right? And they've got a pretty easy schedule. I mean, yeah, they'll get tested like first week against Iowa State, because they're ranked 22nd.
Yep.
Whether they deserve to be ranked 22nd, I don't know. But I mean, they've got in my opinion, a pretty nice path, to get to the playoffs compared to like other teams. Yeah, yeah. And then SMU, being the new team going into the Power 5, like last year, and being competitive, and what, this is their 2nd year, right? Or is this their 3rd year?
This
3rd year.
No, this is the 2nd year. That second year in the ACC. Yeah. Second year.
Okay, yeah. Yep. So what's year 2 going to be like? You know what I mean? It's like, so those are my kind of sleeper teams, but I have more individual storylines that I'm going to be curious to see.
As far as the storylines, I agree with you and it's not just the teams that you mentioned. I think it's quarterbacks across the board. There's so many new.
I just didn't want to keep going. Yeah.
So many new.
Ohio State, right? They replaced their quarterback.
Ohio State, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean UCLA, Iamaleava, whatever. Tennessee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right? With Aguilar. So I mean, there's so many teams this year that have new quarterbacks. Now,
Michigan.
a lot of the talk, yeah, exactly. A lot of the talk has been they think it could be a very, very, very deep quarterback like year. There's a lot of big hype around these quarterbacks, but they haven't played. A lot of them haven't played. So I don't like that sentiment on that aspect. But SMU, the thing I was going to say about SMU. Now, are they going to be, like all of a sudden they popped off last year, and kind of like Indiana, where we weren't expecting them to. Are they going to regress this year? Because now teams aren't necessarily sleeping on them. They are kind of going to know what to expect. And that's where the question mark for SMU is for me coming into this year.
Yeah, I chose them as a sleeper, kind of the same reason I chose Kansas State, because they had their quarterback back as well. They had that Jennings kid back.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a good thing to fall back on, right? So, but I agree with you. Will they regress? Or like you said, they're not sneaking up on teams no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a pretty easy path once they get past those 2 games.
Mm.
If they can pull one of those games off, Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And depending on, oh, sorry, Bert. Yeah. No, you're good. And depending on how the rest of their schedule plays out, they might have to pull off one of the two. They might be one of those teams that can't afford, two losses. But say like a team from the SEC or the Big Ten, they could maybe absorb three losses and make it. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And they were down to the wire losses. Mm.
Yeah. There's a guy I can't think of the guy's name. In the transfer portal, and yeah, yeah. There was a guy. I saw an interview with him, and he literally has that. So it's basically the old, almost like it's a reformulated BCS like formulation, which incorporates all of that, and that's how he gets his preseason rankings as well as kind of their output on where they're going to finish and what their record they're going to finish with, and so on and so forth. And he is, I guess he has his own magazine that he puts out. You know, how, like Phil Steele puts out his. This guy's got his own magazine that he puts out as well each year. So, which is pretty interesting to hear him talk. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I
coming
get,
back
the top
expectations.
25.
Yeah.
That's been around. That's been around forever. I get it. We don't want to lose it.
Oh,
But in
when I was
reality,
young,
does 22 or
dude,
23 matter
right, no.
with the
But
scheme we
when
have
I was
now
young,
or whatever?
I was waiting for these magazines to come out every year.
Yeah, I actually
I'd
took
go
their
get,
magazines and imported the names
yeah,
into my college games.
oh yeah, every year. I know. I was the same way, man. And now that I've gotten older, like I get more cynical about it because I've seen so many times where a team's been ranked so like high preseason that just flops and falls completely out of the rankings. And so
Yeah,
it's been kind of put that bitter taste in my mouth with the preseason rankings. Now as far as preseason rankings go, what would you say you follow more, the AP or the coaches poll?
well, that's a good question.
What would you
I never really thought
coaches?
of it in that way because I know different. I guess the different networks would use different. I never even thought about that, to be honest. Yeah, but then I'll play. Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate. What head coach can really watch all these games if they're really right, like how busy they are. So I might lean more towards the AP, but I don't know. It's just either one. It's like, yeah,
I mean, I was going to say
you know,
the AP. There's no way in hell they're watching every game because if let's say they're an AP writer for Nebraska, well, they're at the Nebraska game, right?
mhm,
So how the hell are they going to be watching the other 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games that are going on during the Nebraska game?
which I get, but
Not.
they have all week. They have all week to try to catch up on a game here, a game there. A head coach,
But they don't because the
can't.
rankings come out on Mondays.
I'm not saying they are, but I'm just saying they can watch and they can kind of like retroactively rank.
Yeah.
Okay. But a coach, ain't no way a coach is telling me he's going home and I'm going to go watch
Oh
this.
hell
You know what I mean?
no! He's
So
watching.
it's
He's
like,
watching the video for the next team. He's not
yeah,
watching any other video other than their next opponent.
I never really thought about like which
Yeah.
poll I go by. Never thought about that. It's a good question.
When I was younger, I would have said coaches poll when I was younger. 100% would have said coaches poll
And I probably
because
would
the
still lean
coaches know the
coaches
team.
because you trust the coach, right? Yeah, the coach knows
Right.
football.
Right. But I'm more apt to lean AP now.
What were you gonna ask, Parrot? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Buffalo coach voted for his own team. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean not with what they lost. I mean, you look at what they lost. I mean, they lost Webster, wide receiver. They lost obviously Travis Hunter. They lost Shadur. I mean, they lost. I would say almost damn near 90% of their production. Probably 80% because that other wide receiver I can't think of his name. That's fast as shit. There you go. They or no maybe not Van Horn but Horn. Jimmy Horn or something like that. Yeah. But
Junior, right?
he was probably their other 20%.
He's his daddy was the pro, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Horn or was it Joe Horn?
Yeah, something like, yeah, from the Saints for a long time. Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, Colorado, like as much production as they lost offensively, yeah, they shouldn't even be there. Um, Texas Tech. I was gonna say Texas Tech in the top 25 on both of them. Why? Why are they in the top 25 in both of these preseason polls? Just because they went out and got the best transfer portal class? How many times have we seen a transfer portal class that a team signs like 15? I mean, how many times has Ole Miss had the best transfer portal class and done nothing with it? Right? Right. Sometimes it's not about just getting the best talent. It's about getting the best talent that fits your team.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I was gonna say the other team that's kind of doing the same. Um, was it UNLV? I saw something on. Um, they're almost like that, almost like last chance U type.
Oh, where Mullen
Uh,
is?
huh?
That's where Mullen is, right? UNLV.
I think so.
Yeah.
And they're taking all these like 5-star and 4-star like recruits that didn't pan out in certain schools, and they're just basically taking the leftover talent and trying to piece together that talent onto a team. So they're taking. Yeah, but Mullen wasn't there last year. I think he just took over this year. I think it was UNLV. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So out of the top 10, I mean, we'll go. I mean, fuck, I don't. We'll go coaches pool. I mean, realistic, like Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia. I don't think it's out of the realm of any of those teams potentially being number one, two, three, or four. Right? You could flip flop those. I think most of us would be fine with however you want to put them in that realm. I'd be actually Clemson potentially even up in that potential mix. Notre Dame, I think, might be a little too high on here. On the coaches poll at 5, AP poll 6.
I agree. And
I think
aren't they starting a freshman quarterback?
I think so. I mean, they do have a lot back, I think, defensively, but and they still have their running backs back too. So that'll alleviate a lot for
Yeah.
the quarterback because they have some damn good running backs at Notre Dame. That Love and I can't remember the other dude's name, but I would say them and Penn State have the two probably best running back rooms heading into this season. Um, Texas, as we talked, I mean, they're going to go as Arch Manning goes. Um, if Arch Manning is what I think everybody thinks he's going to be, I mean, he's the number one contender for a Heisman Trophy right now, which I don't understand how you could put him in that realm for a guy that's played a couple games. Yeah, but I mean, he's played against podunk teams. Yeah, but one game he was very mediocre, and the other game he was decent. I just don't know. Yeah, like I get. I mean, and there's been hype obviously since him coming out of high school, so I get it. But they will go as he goes. If he has, and he doesn't have to have a Heisman Trophy year for them to potentially finish in and even maybe win the SEC with as much talent as he has around him. I don't think he has to finish as a Heisman Trophy candidate, but he has to be solid and not turn over the ball. Right? Would you guys agree? Like if he turns over the
Absolutely.
ball, that's where he's gonna totally fuck up. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Mhm. I mean, he does have some pretty smart football players in his family. Yeah. I I would say potential wise, he has basically all the skills of pretty much any quarterback in the in college football. He's got good speed. No, 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 no. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Humble, what would you say, like out of the top five, kind of who are your like where would you place people, like top five wise? Are you kind of fine with who's in that realm, or would there be somebody that you might bump up, somebody you might take down?
I'm I'm okay with it just because it's gonna. I've always said it's gonna play itself out. But I would like to see Ohio State stay at one. If you're gonna give me a preseason poll and they're still loaded, just keep them at one. I mean, I
Mhm.
think you're not just because they won last year. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. Penn State's going to be good this year. Georgia, we'll see. Notre Dame should be good. Clemson brings their quarterback back. Like, I'm okay with pretty much all that. Like LSU, I think
Yeah.
LSU. I know they're ninth, but I think they're a sleeper top three team because they got their quarterback back.
Oh yeah.
I don't trust their
Nussmeier.
coach. They've
Yeah.
got Nussmeier. That they've got the talent and the quarterback and the system. I just don't like Brian Kelly. He does not win big games for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is weird coming from one of their rivals, but he just
Yeah.
doesn't win big games. Like
And
they
that was
showed like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I was just gonna say that was the whole talk at Notre Dame for him
Yeah, they showed
when
some
he was at
stats
Notre Dame.
where how a team did prior to when he got there, and how like every team he's been on, they just fall off as the years go by.
Yeah.
It's like, and he just has that knock about him, and I think
Yeah.
he's a brilliant mind. I think he's an offensive genius.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes maybe that doesn't translate to the head coach, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good with it. I agree. I like Freeman as well. And I don't want to be a homer,
Love
but
their
I
head coach.
do think Florida has top 5 talent. But I've always said I wish they weren't ranked because I want them to have that chip on their shoulder. I don't want them to start patting each other on the back saying, "Yeah, we're 17." That's just the coach in me, I guess. Always wanting to have my players to have an edge.
Not being a Florida homer, I would agree that I would put it top 8 talent, but I would put them right up there talent-wise.
Oh man,
they're
country. So deep. They're deep everywhere except you. You said best running back rooms, and you mentioned Penn State and Notre Dame, and I almost said something about Florida. But other than quarterback, they are so deep everywhere this year. Like
the only reason
such a great roster, but now can he put it together as a coach? Is the question.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I say Penn State they have.
But I agree with you at Penn State.
Arguably the two best. Arguably,
I'm not arguing that because Florida has a spread to wealth type thing where each running back averages about 5.5 yards a carry, but they're only going to get like 600 yards because it's one of those. Yeah. You know, it's not like a Boise State it's not just a 2-back system; it's a 4-back system.
Yeah, whereas Penn State's a 2-back system.
Yeah.
You know. Yep. I mean, you might rotate. You sometimes some teams rotate some offensive linemen. Yeah, but it's not many. It's not many.
Florida does for sure, and it might just be a couple positions. Like it might be the right to the guard and tackle, but not your All-American. He's in there until he says he wants to come out. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I agree.
Like right now, like Nebraska is basically we're set on our interior. Like our guards and our center, we're fine, we're set, but basically it's a competition between 4 tackles for the 2 tackle spots. Now we have 2 tackles that are competing for the left tackle spot, and whoever wins that left tackle spot, there's a very good chance that other one is the second best tackle, will be just placed at the right tackle spot. But then he has 2 guys nipping at his heels. So there could be some rotation there, but I don't see it much for Nebraska. Now, let's say out of the top 15, looking at the coaches poll, are there any teams that you think should definitely not be in the top 15 to start the season? I have potentially 3 that I think. I don't think Michigan should be in the top 15. I personally don't think Illinois should be in the top 15 to start out the year. I don't think Arizona State should be in the top 15 to start out the year. Those would be my 3 that I would knock down. The teams that I'd probably move up into the top 15 would be Florida, Tennessee, and maybe K-State or Iowa State. Probably those 2. One of those 2. I think I might move up to the top 15.
I actually like Tennessee where they're at right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at
a new quarterback. That's the only reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that.
Not that the last quarterback lit the place on fire because I think he's the reason that they didn't play as well as they could have.
Yeah.
I mean, that Josh Heupel system, man, you should be putting up numbers, man. And he just.
Yeah.
That's such a quarterback-friendly system.
But I mean, like, what right does really Michigan have to be in the top 15 in any of the polls right now?
I got just past success. I got you. Totally get you. Just that's
right?
really all it is. Past success and recruiting. But
Yeah.
I agree. And then I like your
I
K
mean,
State take. And like maybe because they got people coming back, so they should improve, right?
yeah. I mean, year over year they
Third
should.
year quarterback.
Indiana. The only
So
reason I didn't say SMU or Indiana is because, as I've already said, I'm like, I don't know about them. Are they gonna fall off this year? So that's why I wouldn't necessarily put him in there. Now,
and there's a lot of hype around Illinois because they did have a pretty decent season last year. I think they only lost like 3 games. I'd have to look at their schedule. I think they still went like 10-3. So there's a lot of hype that maybe they could keep building on that. My dad and I actually got in a fight over the South Carolina Illinois bowl game. Oh man.
I was gonna say question on it, like I saw somebody talking about this, and it kind of made sense to me. When they were talking about the preseason rankings. In your opinion, do you think people are ranking these in how they think teams will finish the year, or where they slot the teams to start the year?
I'll let Parrot go first. Right? Neither one
Yeah,
of them are going to drop very far when they lose. I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. So, but you say like the way that they picked it right now is basically where you think or they think these teams are slated at the start of the year, right? Humboldt, do you think the same or opposite?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to use Florida as an example. The knock on Florida this year, like I mean, I've been watching a few guys like Josh Pate and some BSBN guys, and they are super high on Florida. They're like, this is
There's a,
top 5 talent. But
I
look
was
at
gonna
the
say there's a
schedule,
lot. Yeah.
right? But look at the schedule, and then they start knocking them for the schedule that they haven't even played yet. At number 9, Miami.
You
At number
Oklahoma.
10,
Yeah.
at number 9, LSU. At number 10, Miami. They get number 1, Texas, the very next week. Then they go at 19, Texas A&M, right? So it's like,
Well,
so they're already saying, oh, they're going to lose like 3 of these games. So this is where they should be instead of what they are right now, like
yeah.
the roster they got now entering.
And what sucks for you guys is when you have a hard SEC schedule, you also play Miami and Florida State every year.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not like most SEC schools where they have cupcakes for non-conference opponents
Yep. Like
because
I was
you
going to bring it up
automatically have two Power Four conference non-conference opponents
yes, I
every
was going to
year.
bring that up when Parrot was talking about like padding stats,
Yep.
right, with Texas. So since
Yep.
Texas and Oklahoma both joined the SEC, well, that's their rival game right there, Texas Oklahoma. So
Right.
that opened up a slot for them to have 3 cupcake games in a row.
Yep.
San Jose
Yep.
State, UTEP, and Sam Houston.
Yeah.
So like you just said, right? Other SEC teams, they get the slot. Like Florida is going to get their 2 week games. But yeah, like you said, but their other 2 non-conference games are Miami and Florida State. And when they're rolling, right, they're pretty ranked and they're pretty tough teams.
Yeah, and there's some SEC schools that have 4 cupcakes
Yeah,
that
yeah,
play
yeah.
no Power 4
Yeah, like I think
non-conference games.
can't remember who it was. I think Missouri again got like the easiest schedule
Yeah, yeah.
of the SEC this year. Yeah.
And I mean, realistically, I mean, it's between what, Oklahoma and you guys for the toughest SEC schedule.
Yeah.
Both you and Oklahoma are right there again. You were both bad last year. You're going to be bad this year. You'll probably ease up. Both of you will ease up probably next year.
And what
You
helps
know,
Oklahoma?
in how the rotations go.
Yeah, and they got Michigan on their schedule, so they got a really tough out of conference
Yep.
schedule right there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean that's.
Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
and to your point, Parrot, maybe why don't we take 2 of these cupcake make them your preseason? You can still pay these teams the millions you're paying them to come up or whatever, hundreds of thousands. They can still come, they can play, get the money. You could go ahead
But
and
it doesn't count
boom,
towards your schedule and your record.
doesn't count towards your schedule. You can still get your guys some playing time. They're hitting somebody other than themselves. You know what I mean?
That way, I mean, well, and that way you can actually maybe slot in, like it doesn't matter about the score. So even if you're losing, hell, bring in your second string, get
Yeah,
them some
because you might
actual
keep.
collegiate playing
Yeah,
time because you might need
that's what
them
you're going to do.
later in the year. Yep.
And don't count that towards
I
like say your
like.
freshman's 4 games, right?
Ooh,
And then
I like
that's
that
what you want to
idea.
do. You want to get your second, third, and fourth string in. You know, you want to get them some depth.
I like that. I like that idea. Well, bring him in. I mean, bring him in. You know, Bring it in middle of August. Like, not. Don't wait until the end of the year or end of August. They're not getting. No big program is going to do that. No, no. The reason they won't. I hear what you're saying, but the reason they will not do that because they will not lose revenue on tickets. If they're
That's what I was
paying a
gonna say.
school to play them, they're no, they that's the whole reason they have it at home is because they get the ticket revenue as well as the concessions revenue. If you're playing at a podunk school, you're missing out on 3-4 million for a game day easily.
I do like where you're going with that, Parrot, but I agree. There's so much money
I
that
hear
already
you.
doing that.
I
Yeah.
hear you 100%. Doesn't matter. Nope.
Or say
I guarantee.
maybe that works. Maybe that works if
Neutral
it's not
site,
a
I'd be
cupcake
okay
you're
with.
playing. So
Well,
say Miami doesn't count against Florida's schedule because they're in the ACC. We can schedule that game back and forth like that because it's 2 bigger programs. But I don't
as a
know if it's
preseason
gonna.
game,
Yeah, who's
okay.
gonna want to watch Florida play Long Island though, right?
Yeah,
Even if it's televised, it's at Long Island. Who's really gonna want to watch that?
yeah.
That'd be that'd be kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say there no way in hell a team would sign up to play 2 games in like 4 days.
Well, maybe if you did that, you couldn't play your same players twice. You get what I'm saying? Like, so that next game, it's all your second string or it's all your third and fourth string. That's their time to go. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see a way we could make it happen. And yeah,
I mean, you can spread it over 7 days. Like if you played on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, maybe do Thursday to Thursday. So like you each play like and maybe not even make it like a tournament per se. But yeah, two double headers Thursday night, one, 6 o'clock, one, you know, right then there after it or something to that effect. And then they flip flop teams. So like if it's let's say Clemson and Bama on the first game and LSU and Miami, right? Let's say it's those four teams in that whatever bracket. Um so Clemson plays Bama and then that's the first game of that week and then LSU Miami the next and then you flip flop. So then LSU would play Clemson the next Thursday and Bama would play Miami. Like I could see something like that maybe working.
I'll
And
take
then
it a
you could
step
I mean
further.
at that point you could hold mutual practices too. So you're not just and maybe the mutual practices you're working on your second and third string against their second and third string type thing. You know what I'm saying?
And another venue we can look into. Let's put it on the top. Let's put it on the deck of a battleship, aircraft carrier. Let's have Bobby Boucher each other right off the side.
uh,
Well, yeah,
right.
right. We'll have some lifeboats on the side that to scoop them up out of the water.
I mean, as far like you were saying, I do like the idea of even if you were playing, like Nebraska was playing Northern Illinois, right? And that's going to be one of our preseason games. I'd be okay with doing that at Arrowhead, right? Doing that at a NFL, where like Nebraska would get. I mean, because you could negotiate it, where Nebraska would get 70% of the ticket revenue and concessions, and Northern Illinois would still get 30% or something like that, which would still be a lot for Northern Illinois. So I could see something like that, maybe working, because that's, I mean, similar to what Cincinnati's doing because they knew Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati knew with Nebraska they're not going to get as much money at home, um, versus if they played at a neutral site, they knew they'd make more money. Uh, so that's why they agreed to play at Arrowhead, which is basically going to be a home game for Nebraska. So yeah, yeah, and I mean not just travel. They just have fans all over the country as well. Yep. I mean, we could have played one of them last week. That was our first. That was our scrimmage. Our first scrimmage was Saturday last week. We could have played one of the non-conference games that Saturday. We got another scrimmage this Saturday. Played the other one this Saturday, and then maybe I mean it would go later. I mean you probably wouldn't start your regular season, or for that simple fact, as we talked about, if we do the automatic qualifiers, well, this would give you a chance to play some of those, conference like how the Big Ten wanted to do it and have those play-in games, so the top six teams in the conference have a chance to make the playoff versus just being the top four teams. Um, so yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Obviously, don't know if that's going to happen, but I do like that idea. As you know, which every team wears them in practice now. Yeah. I wonder how much weight those add to the helmet. Do any of you guys have any idea on like how much those like padded? I don't know what the hell they are over the helmets. How much weight they add? Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Like those helmets aren't light when you put them on your head. It's probably more than that. Right. I know it's a whole nother thing that they add on top of that the helmet. I mean, I'm not saying it's much more than a pound, but I would guess probably in the range of a pound. I don't know, but
That's a good question.
all
I'm not
right,
sure because I think a typical
yeah,
football helmet only weighs like 5 pounds, 4 to 6 pounds, 5 pounds.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm just happy I
Hmm.
wasn't one of the long neck motherfuckers. Like I kind of got it, I mean, a shorter neck because the longer neck that you have, the harder it is to support that shit. um. All right, I think we've hit on. I mean, is there anything else out of the top 25 that any
For
of you
sure.
guys want to hit on before we move on to
Mhm.
our teams and kind of okay. Perry, anything for what? I mean, you guys got a good chance. I think you. I really. I think you guys do have a good chance. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and jump to your team, Perry. So we'll kind of go through um, your schedule and kind of where you think, um, where your hardest games, kind of what you guys need to do, and how you think you will finish this year. Yeah, I was going to say I think your offensive line is going to be much improved. To be honest, okay. So do you think you're going to lose to TCU or beat TCU? I'm looking for your picks, bro. Like not what you think's gonna like. I want your picks. Like got Scott Frost again. That could be a big noon kickoff on Fox. So you got losing at Cal, losing at Syracuse, lost to Duke, lost to Clemson, for sure lost, and then you said lost to NC State, and then UCF would be your 50-50. UCF would get you to 7 wins. Um, yeah, yeah, I hear you. I mean, obviously a new head coach in Belichick, you don't know what to expect. Um, going into the season, right? Um, looking at your team and kind of where you were last year, I don't, I don't know on UCF at all. I don't know how they're going to be either. I could see potentially your first 4 games as wins. Um, Cal, I think you guys beat. I'm not high on Cal at all. They weren't very good last year. It is a long trip. I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand that. Syracuse, I do agree with you on that potential trip up game because Syracuse, they're never great, but they're a team that could basically get anybody on any certain day. Now last year they had Kyle McCord. I don't think he's back this year, is he? I think he's done. So I think they're starting a new quarterback as well.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. And then Duke, NC State. I think those are going to be hard ones for you. I could see in that same realm, anywhere 6-6 to 8-4. 8-4, I think, would be a phenomenal first year. 6-6 is where you need to shoot for. I think that would be a good first year under Belichick. Bubba, what do you think?
I agree, and I kind of like your schedule this year for that first year for Belichick. The only game that really I'm like 100, not even, I mean it's never a 100%, but I'm like, okay, Clemson should beat you, right? You never know what kind of a team you're gonna have going in there. Clemson should be, but I see you winning every other game.
Yeah.
But you never know. Again, like E was saying, you don't know how these teams are gonna be. You don't know how good CF's gonna be. Frost, right?
Yeah.
Or Duke. Are they gonna be that hard playing team that they've been the past few years, right? Trying to transition into like, hey, we can play football too.
Right.
Same thing with Syracuse. I mean, that dude put up big numbers. I like the Syracuse. They're recruiting pretty well, and so I can see you. I think you're going to go 9-3. Um, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
you're realistic in the realm that you don't know, right? Like we don't know fully what you guys have, and I think yeah, I mean I know how you are as a fan. Yeah. Does he have the breakaway speed as Hampton? I don't think he has the breakaway speed as Hampton. I think he's more a power runner, right? Yeah. I'm not saying he doesn't have speed. I mean, he still has speed, but
and you've got another back over there from Florida, not the Florida Gators, but just from the state of Florida, who did pretty well last year.
could be that. I mean, oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm looking up the names real quick. Davion Geis or Goss. I could be saying it wrong. He was your second leading rusher last year. 5 yards of carry.
I was gonna say, I think he's more of the speed guy, if I remember correctly.
I could be saying his last name wrong. It's Davion, and it's Gause. He's number 21, 5'11", 215. Oh, he's not there? Damn. Did he transfer? Ain't that something else, man? Ooh.
Yeah, he's there.
So I think you'll have a nice 1-2 punch. And if we just go by the knowns, I think you're going to have a better defense than you've had in a long while there. I think that's going to be a priority for Belichick, and it usually always is, even in the end, right?
Yep.
So
100%.
So that's what makes me think too that you're not going to have to go do shootouts anymore. Like, oh man, if Drake May could have had maybe 2 years under Belichick in North Carolina.
Oh God.
You with the playoffs.
Well, legitimate Drake May for Heisman.
Yeah.
Right.
He have that defense to back him up, and he get the ball more often.
Don't get me wrong. Like, he was in the Heisman talk.
Yeah.
I guess not his last year, but the year prior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if he would have had Belichick during that time, 100% he would have been Heisman talk.
Right.
Well into the year.
What him and Hampton with a Belichick defense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, redshirt senior year. Yeah, redshirt senior year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he left after his redshirt. I want to say it was redshirt sophomore year.
Yeah, you're right. Because it was Sam Howell 2 years before. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think first year under Belichick, I think a 7-win season would be a good outcome for y'all. So, I'll jump on to my team now, and then we'll hit Humbles. Obviously, first game Cincinnati at Arrowhead on a Thursday night. Big matchup. Cincinnati, I don't know what to expect. A lot of people have been talking about they're gonna try and power run, because our D line is fully changed over, so we don't know what to expect from our D line. I think our offense will be much improved. I think this could go down to the fourth quarter. I think Nebraska wins this. Then we have Akron and Houston Christian. Surprised those are televised, but realistically, every game's televised anymore. I think Nebraska wins both of those. Then we go into our first game in the Big Ten, which is Michigan. Um, that's gonna be a tough matchup, but it is at home. Um, it's a mid-afternoon kickoff. The head coach for Michigan, as of right now, is not going to be at that game. He is suspended. Uh, they suspended him themselves, getting ahead of any NCAA potential suspensions. Um, so he will not be on the sidelines and cannot coach at all during that prior week up until this game. With them having a new quarterback, all that, I think they potentially struggle in this game. I think we win this game. Um, and then we go to Michigan State. I think we win that game. Maryland at Maryland. I don't think they're going to be great. I think they're going to be one of the probably lower teams in the Big Ten this year. So I think we pull out that. Minnesota at Minnesota is one of the first games that really scares me. We have a bad record against Minnesota under PJ Fleck. I think we've only beaten them once since he's been there. I think this is a 50-50. I'm going to go with us winning it. Northwestern, we win. USC at home, I think we lose. USC has, out of the top 3 teams, USC probably has the most talent on the roster in the Big Ten that's not in the top 3. And I think they could rise a lot this year. Jordan Mailata, the quarterback that they have, showed a lot of promise at latter part of the year once he got inserted into the starting lineup. And Lincoln Riley is I mean, say what you will, but that dude knows how to coach quarterbacks. I mean, he has 2 Heisman quarterbacks that he coached at Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma and USC under, because didn't Caleb Williams got a Heisman, didn't he, or no?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know who would have been that year. I think so. I'm gonna look up Heisman winners all time.
Or was he just in the No, I don't think he did.
I'm looking at
Jaden Daniels beat him.
Oh, was that the same year? No, he won in 2022. Jaden Daniels won in 2023.
Okay, so he won at Oklahoma. Okay.
No, he was at USC in 2022 when he won. Yeah.
Oh,
the
okay.
last Oklahoma quarterback was Kyler Murray, and that was right after Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Okay. So he won. Okay, that's right. So Lincoln Riley, I mean, he coached, I think, both of those guys as well as Caleb Williams.
I agree. Yeah.
So he has a good track record with quarterbacks. UCLA, I think we beat them at UCLA. Penn State, I think we lose, and then Iowa, I think we win. I'm higher on us than a lot of people. Now, the games that do scare me, obviously Michigan. I think that could go either way. The Minnesota game is the one that I think could go either way. USC and Penn State. Those are my 4 biggest games that I'm scared about. I have us picked at 10-2. I think we could finish at 8-4 realistically. Potentially losing all those, which I would hate, because then you're going to get in that this coach can't win the big game type shit. And I hate that whole talk and scenarios and whatever. But realistically, I think 8-4 under Matt Rule in year 3. is a good finish. Is it as big as a lot of people wanted after he first got hired? Probably not. Um, but it also depends on. I mean, if we're in that game against Michigan, if we're in that, like, if it's close against Minnesota, if it's close against USC, close against Penn State, and we just barely lose those games, it'll look different than an 8-4 season, right? So I think 8-4 to 10-2 is kind of in the realm of where we'll be. I'm picking us to finish 10-2. What do you guys think?
I like it. I want to see the second year step that Raiola does.
Yeah.
Like, cause you're kind of in the same. Florida and Nebraska have a lot of similarities when it comes to that aspect, right? And so, and he had a great year last year for a freshman. I'm not saying obviously could have been better.
Big Ten wise, it's the second best freshman year of all time.
Yeah,
starting quarterback as a freshman.
Another year, under this system, right? And just being around and more reps and all. And I can see you taking the leap, and I see Dylan being in the Heisman talk this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I do, and I think a lot of it hinges on your defense. If your defense can play the same way it played, you had a good defense last. I think you were like top 15 total defense. Top 15 total. So if they play the same, I know you're replacing some pieces, but if you could have a top 10 total defense and Dylan takes a step up, I think you guys are going to do really well this year.
I was going to say our biggest issue on defense last year was third down, getting off the field on third down. That was probably our lowest stat. So if we can flip that and get that changed, it's going to drastically change the season.
Yeah. You were in every game you played last year except Illinois game? Indiana game? Okay.
Indiana. That was the only one.
Yeah, you were in every game last year.
Yep.
And if Dylan can take that step up, you know what I mean? And, of course, other people have to step up around him. So I'm not putting it all on him. But he's kind of got that Arch Manning factor. He's a recruit. He went to Nebraska, which wasn't really a shock to the Nebraskans, but everybody else is like, why go somewhere else that's bigger? You know what I'm saying? Like, so he has all this, like, he's got that it factor. I said he looks exactly like Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? The way he walks and throws, the way he wears his pads. So I think I'm a little more optimistic than you guys on your teams, but I get it. I think you can have you definitely have some tough games, but if you go 10-2, you're in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, 8-4, and I agree with you. I can see 8-4 coming from them, but I'm really I just can't wait to see some football, just to see what some of these, like we said, this is a quarterback heavy year. And there's another story right there, Nebraska and Dylan Raiola.
Yep.
If I'm even saying his name right.
Yep. 100%.
Because I'm looking at his stats now. I'm sorry, Perry. Go ahead. I don't monopolize.
Mm-hmm. It's a multiple under Dana Holgorsen. He runs some aspects of spread, some aspects yeah. Yep. I think our O line's gonna be solid this year. On O line? No. Our tight end did, Mac Markway. He was our blocking tight end. Oh, he got hurt last year. He's back this year. He's healthy right now. Yeah, yeah. He yeah, he's one of the he's one of the four tackles that are competing for the two spots. Him, Kanak, Gunnar Gatula, who started most of the year last year at left tackle, and then Pritchett, who was the Alabama transfer. Gunnar Gatula and Pritchett are the ones fighting for the left tackle starting spot. Yep, yep, 100%. Yep, yeah. Okay. I mean, I mean, obviously Iowa always at the end of the year. I mean, could always throw a wrench into everything, but
I like Parrott's take on the rushing. Yeah, that'll take a lot off of Dylan. And he needs to put the ball in the end zone more this year for you guys.
yeah, yeah.
He's got
We in the once we got, I was going to say once we got to the red zone, it was a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean is fine. Um, but last year, without a kicking game, like that's what shot us in the ass because if we didn't run it in, our kicking game was shit. So if we got into the third, like inside the 30, and we're not hitting passes, I mean that's where we struggled. That's our punter, yeah, Archie Wilson, yeah. Yeah, he's from fucking Melbourne, Australia. he's he's halfway across the world, bro. Yeah, I mean his parents are gonna be here for the first two games. Right. But uh special teams will be key for Nebraska because that honestly, I mean, two of our wins last year were special teams. Iowa, we lost because of special teams. We muffed a punt and they kicked a field goal and won the game. In Illinois, we missed a field goal late that would have won the game. So, I mean, we could have finished 8-4 last year if we don't have those special team fuck ups. So, it, that's yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it ultimately, like I said, 8-4, I think is our bottom. That should be our bottom. If we lose more than that, that's a bad year, in my opinion. If we are at 7 wins at the end of the year, that is a bad season. At this point in the rule tenure, I think 8-4 to I could see potentially even 11-1, realistically, right? I could see us beating USC, and like that's the other loss that I have us losing at 10-2, other than Penn State. Penn State, I think offensively, well, offensively and defensively, I think they are superior to us this year. Just with what they have returning. Now, we're also talking about this at the beginning of the year. We don't know what Penn State will be at that time of the year. So, tides could change at that point in the time, in the season. But right now, just looking at it, with what's on paper, I think that's where we, in the scope of things, that's why I think we go. So, all right. I think we're all similar on that. So that's I kind of like that. Right, motherfucker. Just nope. That's not what I wanted. I gotta get to Florida so we can get to Humble's team. All right, so we got Florida's up now. Humble, tell me what you think.
All right, we'll go week by week here, and I've got two trains of thought on this. I think this is the most talented team I've had at Florida since Urban Meyer left.
I was gonna say I was gonna go back further, say Spurrier, but just to fuck around with you.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think that 2008 Florida team was loaded, but yeah, this is the most talent we've had on both sides of the ball, and we've got depth. The only scary thing is, of course, it's with any team really. Not many teams are gonna have 2-star quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like Texas kind of did, but Arch wasn't proven. But if Lagley goes down, it's going to be a struggle. We run the ball really well, though. No matter what, even teams know we're going to run, we still run the ball very. And Long Island, we're going to win. South Florida, I think we win. And this is good. I'm going to give you two different schedules here, two different win-loss totals. I think we go to LSU. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think our defense is going to be so good. But not only that, we finally going to have an offense. We're going to have an offense with weapons all over the field, and I'm just going to put it out right here. I think we run the table. I think Florida could absolutely go 12-0 with the roster they have.
All right.
Now, with the SEC being the way it is, I don't think that's ever going to happen again, unless you just have, an all-world team. So I'll tell you the games I think they can slip up. And if it happens, it's probably most likely where it will. It will be at that LSU game in Death Valley at night.
Yeah.
That could be a slip up game. So there's one loss. And my only other slip up, like I'm confident with all this really, at Texas A&M. Like, yes, I think Texas is tough, but we get them at home. So that's why I lean more towards I think we can pull that off. Yep. But at Texas A&M, they got that really loud stadium. They got that quarterback who's very dynamic. That's the other loss that I think Florida could have. And if that happens, I think they go 10-2. But I think they still miss out on the SEC championship game because one of those. But 10-2 is what I think is the more realistic schedule. Maybe 9-3 at that cocktail party with Georgia, but I'm going to go 10-2.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, obviously, I think your hardest games. I agreed with I agree with you on the LSU. A&M's always hard to play at, so that's always a tough game. Mm-hmm. Was that Doak?
Bobby Dodd or something weird? No, that's Florida State. Doak Campbell.
Yeah. What? Oh God, I can't think of the name of the A&M stadium. Always a tough place to play.
A&M stadium name. I think it's like Bobby Dodd, but I could be wrong. That could be Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Kyle Field.
Kyle Field. There you go.
There you go. Way wrong.
And it's because it's so vertical on both sides. So that sound kind of gets trapped in a little bit. Ole Miss would be the other one. I don't know how I feel about Lane Kiffin, is team wise, but it's not an easy place to play either.
No, and they're starting a new quarterback, and he'll have plenty of games under his belt by then. And he's a highly recruited kid too. But that's why I was like, okay, we can pull that off. It's not Jackson Dart.
Right.
There's no, but
I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, like, when I look at that schedule, like, those are probably the three hardest games I see on the schedule. Yes, George. Obviously, Georgia's going to be hard, right? Georgia's a damn good team. But being at home makes it a little bit better. I mean, we saw what you guys did to Georgia before Lagway got injured last year, right?
That's a neutral site game. That Georgia game.
Oh, is it neutral?
Every year it's a neutral site game.
That's right. Okay, I see the asterisk there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And we saw, like I said, we saw what you guys did to Georgia last year before Lagway went down. You guys win that game if Lagway doesn't get injured.
I agree. And people always like, oh, woulda, coulda, shouldas, but I mean, he was balling.
Yeah, he was balling. Your defense, and your defense was playing lights out that whole game.
Yep.
Even when Lagway went down, your defense was still balling out and trying to keep you guys in the game. So I'm not as worried about the Georgia game as I am those away games.
Yeah,
I'm kind of right there with you. I see 9-3. I don't think you're going to run the table, and that's just based on how tough your schedule is. But I'm right in the realm of like 9-3 to 11-1 with y'all. So I think you guys are going to have a hell of a year.
Yeah, this is the most optimistic I've been in a while.
Yeah, I think last year
I wasn't even that optimistic with Mullen because we didn't know what we were going to get, and then all of a sudden Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, and all them they go off.
I think last year you picked your team like 7-5 or 8-4.
Yeah.
So you picked them about right.
There is like, and I know like we all know our team is better than like the other person, here on this podcast.
Right.
Florida's got so much depth this year. And like you're gonna see Dallas Wilson, our freshman receiver, and Vernell Brown the third. You're gonna see these freshmen on the field at receiver. We're gonna be healthy. We're like almost 3 deep on the defensive line. Our linebacking core. It's just the secondary is that's the weakest part of the defense, but it's still depth. We still have depth, and it's
but I mean you don't have to have that much depth in the secondary because typically the secondary doesn't rotate very often. Right?
It depends. Florida does. Certain spots.
I'm just saying,
not all spots. You're gonna have,
You rotate some safeties in for maybe a nickel.
Yeah.
To bring in more of a coverage guy or something in that aspect. But your corners don't normally sub out.
That's the difference between Billy. Billy will. If you're good enough to play, you're getting on the field. And that's what I like about Billy. And then so we've got like probably 7 that will rotate in that secondary.
Okay.
That's corners. That's just corners.
Yeah.
Corners and nickelback. Safeties, of course you got your rotation of safeties. You got your 4, usually that rotate unless you got like a straight stud, Yeah. But I am so optimistic. I'm so ready to just spot the ball. And then every time DJ gets hit, I'm going to be biting my nails, hoping he gets out.
All right. Let's hear what Parrot thinks. And then
I was going to say the one thing, because I go back and I rewatch the games with different angles. And the one thing that DJ, and he mentioned it too, SEC days, loved. Oh my gosh, it like made me feel so proud, as a former coach. he needs to check down sometimes. He takes and he throws the long ball better than anybody in the country, statistically. I'm not saying there's other people that can't throw it well, but he just statistically he had the best percentage of balls like over 40 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's many times where he would take that long shot and he had a wide open guy coming down across, underneath, or check it, or he's trying to fit it into like a 20
to 15 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and he said it. He said he needs to learn to look check down, because if he does that, this offense is unstoppable, and it just makes him harder to guard because they know, he only wants to throw deep, so let's put two guys on this receiver here, let's put two guys. But man, if he could just learn to bring the ball down and use the whole field, he will be a Heisman contender.
I was going to say, a lot of that is reading the defenses and knowing if, okay, they're going to drop into like a Tampa 2. So they might have a bracket coverage on this wide receiver deep. So this, underneath route, crossing pattern, underneath route, it's going to be wide open. And some of that is knowing that, right? Right, you get thrown into college football, like you're not going to know that stuff. I mean, there's so many different coverages that defenses run. They show one way and then they change. So it throws you off. And just that knowledge of being there, I think transitioning into this year and knowing what to look for. And that goes the same route with Dylan. I mean, Dylan early in the year was not doing the check down until Dana Holgerson took over as the offensive coordinator, and then he started hitting the check down. And you look at our offense, all of a sudden it started, going back up again. So yeah, like I understand where you're coming from on that. All right, Barrett, what do you see from Florida this year?
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. I see. I agree with you. Last year, Florida State was 2 and whatever, but they still played us tough almost the whole game.
And we have no idea what Florida State's going to be like this year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And luckily we get them at home this year. Luckily. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're 19 because of recruiting and transfer portal. Yeah. I was gonna say is A&M ranked at the time that Florida plays them? We don't know. They might not be.
Mm-hmm. Florida might not be too.
Yeah, because I mean, Texas A&M plays Notre Dame week 3, and then they play. Well, yeah, they can't because I mean, well, no, they can't. I mean, okay, I hear you that they can, but why would they? They want to get big matchups, in the big slots.
Yeah, that's all on the networks there.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they wait. They wait until what is it? Is it the week prior? So like the Utah State week for let's say, I mean I'm looking at A&M right now, but we'll go back to so like the South Florida time, like Florida against South Florida, that's when they'll come out with the time for Miami. The LSU week will be the time they come out with Texas. Type shit. Damn, Texas A&M's got a kind of easier schedule. A lot easier schedule than y'all. Shit, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they play Notre Dame, so that's one of their non-conference matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to Auburn, or at home, I should say. They play at Notre Dame, and then they're at home against Auburn, which Auburn could be a tough team this year.
Yeah, there's some people who are kind of high on Auburn, that Auburn could be a sleeper.
I was gonna say that could be kind of that sleeper in the SEC this year. Mississippi State's gonna be shit like they are every fucking year. I shouldn't say that, but I mean realistically, like in the SEC they are though. They're the team that gets shit on every year in the SEC. Like the SEC, like top to bottom, damn good conference, other than Mississippi State.
I think they had like one good year, like 8 years ago or something. So they had like a decent
something like
quarterback.
that. Yeah. And then the coach left for a bigger position. Rightfully so. And then obviously you got Florida. And then they play at LSU. At South Carolina. What do you think on South Carolina this year? I know there's a lot of people high on them just because Lenore Sellers.
Real quick,
I'm not as high.
2014 when they had Dak Prescott was the last time.
Okay. Yeah.
And Dan Mullen, yeah.
Yep.
But then before that, right? Yeah, I don't know about South Carolina.
I mean, their quarterback, damn good quarterback. Sellers is going to be a very good quarterback.
He's big. He's strong.
I don't see them having a lot else other than that, though.
They have that one freakish like athlete at tight end / receiver. Gosh, what was his name? Nick Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that though, it's like their defense was good. They ran the ball decent, I believe. 2,400 yards rushing. They ran the ball decent as a team, right? They had team rushing. They actually were pretty balanced. 2,900 passing yards, 2,400 rushing yards.
Yeah. My dark horse for the SEC is Vanderbilt.
I was going to joke if we say Vanderbilt.
I mean, that quarterback sure as hell thinks they're winning the championship. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, confident as hell. I appreciate it, but bro, you ain't doing shit. Sorry. Just because you beat Alabama, you snuck up on Alabama last year and beat them. Come on, bro. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, when he was at SEC media days and all that, I'm like, wow.
What,
He's like,
he
we're
said
going for
something.
a national championship. Blah blah blah. Blah.
Yeah.
Like, what? No, you're not.
Pavella or something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Diego Pavia.
There you go. I'm like, I knew it was started with a D, but I didn't remember what name did. But yeah, he's confident. He's confident. Nope.
Mm.
Well, like what I was going to say with him, it's like, okay, well, you think you're going to win the championship this year, right? What held you back last year? 100% agree with you, but based on his statement, no, I know. I'm not stupid. I'm just if they won out, what do you mean?
They went undefeated.
If they went undefeated, 100% they would be in the championship. No, they would be in the SEC championship 100% if they win out. Because well, he was talking about SEC championship at SEC media days.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
they went out, how weak was the SEC that year?
right.
It's Vanderbilt versus Mississippi State in the SEC title game.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I loved watching Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I think we all did, right? I think we all loved watching that game and Vandy beating them. But I would not have gone out and been like, Diego Pavia, like, bro, like this dude's gonna be, a Heisman contender. Vanderbilt's, building it like a dynasty. No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Winning games is crazy. It takes a full team, right? Not just one player. It takes a full team. Yeah, yeah, yep. All right. Well, last thing I actually just came up with this. Last thing I'm going to talk about is just small. Um, NIL. I know that's not a small convo, but um, in relation to this day and age with rev sharing, NIL is going to be more often than not smaller than I think it was in the past. Because it's got to go through a clearinghouse and get passed now versus where it was in the past and didn't even have to get cleared. So it'll be changing up a little bit. As far as like NIL, the only reason I'm bringing this up is our coach talked about we've submitted I think 32 NIL deals for our football team to the clearinghouse, and I think 26 have came back passed. They passed the clearinghouse. Six just haven't cleared yet. They haven't said yes or no, essentially. Um, None of those are valued at over $30,000 NIL wise. So I don't know on obviously other teams on what route they're going with. You know, if they're trying to get bigger NIL deals passed or not. Um, but at least for Nebraska's sake, it's smaller deals. More, I think, essentially trying to get kids in the program that maybe have a scholarship, but can't work, can't obviously because if you have a scholarship, you can't work, do anything else. Maybe getting them an NIL deal to help them out financially. I don't know for sure because I have no idea who those NIL deals were for, but that's just my thinking. What do you guys think on the NIL realm? Now that we have the rev sharing and most of these programs are paying the players based on the rev sharing, that what 20 million that the university can spend on athletes per year. A lot of them, depending on how much they want to use via football. I mean, could be anywhere from 10 to 14 million, and then the others spread across other programs. So, what do you guys think?
You guys run with this. What are you sure?
Okay. So rev share it's not, it's not through the school. Has nothing to do with the school. Rev share is volleyball, men's and women's basketball, and football are primarily the sports that it's going to be distributed through. Well, not from the university. This is all based on TV revenue from the Big Ten and athletics. So the college itself, we don't take any money literally from the college to pay for athletics. Athletics are paid for based on what the athletics bring in. Typically, it's what football brings in. The revenue that football generates is what pays for the renovations for volleyball or the renovations for said sports slash or donations. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying volleyball doesn't bring in revenue. That's not what I'm saying. I'm right. I'm just saying the athletics bring in enough revenue to. I mean, our athletics at Nebraska have never been in debt. So it's talked about. Actually, Dannon talked about initiating another women's sport. But yeah, but the other number one women's sport that is growing in leaps and bounds right now is women's flag football. So that's another one that is talked about coming into play. I um, but as far as like the rev share, like I'm not worried about the rev share. Like I know how that's gonna deal. What I was interested in is it was hearing on the NIL, and that none of them, like none of what they submitted was over the 30,000 basically threshold. Um, like I'm I'm looking at like USC and 32 recruits this year. I mean, 2 5 stars, 24 stars, and 10 3 stars. How are they paying? Like realistically, how are they paying, or like what are they paying these players? Yeah, I mean, 100. Like, yeah. Well, I think a lot of the $30,000 NIL deals are players that are not on scholarship, and that's to pay for their school and room and board. I guarantee a lot of those $30,000 NIL deals. That's what they're for on the football side. Right, right. I mean, rightfully so. Like, and I have no problem with that, and with the schools doing that. Thank God they are. Like, I actually like that. Because obviously they moved up the roster limits to 105. Nebraska has 100, I think 23 on the roster, which you don't have to actually get to the 105 for I think 2 3 years from now. Um, so we have some leeway. We had to put delegations on said players that are over the 105. Um, so they're not counted towards our 105. And if they do transfer out of our program, they will not count towards the 105 for whatever program they go to in the future. So if they do transfer out, yeah, um, yeah, and so like I'm fine with that because a lot of those extra players in that realm from the 105 to 125 a lot of them are walk-ons, realistically, right? So I'm completely fine with that. Now the issue is, like I said, I want to, and I know we're not going to get this answer. So I'm posing a shitty question because we're not going to have an answer for it. But I kind of want ideas on what you think or how you think some of these teams can be getting. I mean, USC getting 32 commits already. Like I said, Georgia 31 commits already. Like Nebraska, I mean, we have what I think 12. Like we're not even in the top 50 in recruiting right now. Because we limited our recruiting because we knew how this roster stuff was going to go, and we wanted to. So well, I mean, Rule basically came out and said like we got to change our ways of recruiting. We can't just recruit 25 kids a year because there's going to be roster limits, and we already have. So out of the 120, almost 90 kids, I think it's 80 kids, are freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores on our roster. 80 out of the 125. So you have 45 kids that are juniors or seniors. So like it's not like, and when you think of 80, well, that means we can only add 25 more people essentially to get to that 105 mark of roster size. So in turn, how can we go out and get a 32 unless you're just automatically cutting people, which I don't like. Yeah, you're essentially you're eliminating any growth from athletes, but trying to recruit. But I mean, how many freshmen start their freshman year? Not that many. You're not going to have. I mean, out of 32 freshmen coming in next year, you might have what, 5, 6 max that actually maybe play or start. Like O line, D line. I mean, realistically, yeah, you want them to mature to their second or third year in the program before they're playing, because you got to build them up body wise to compete. Not all, right? I mean, there are some freaks. I get that, but more often than not. For Florida State, no, Alabama, Alabama, Alabama. Well, and the right, and the wide receiver for even Ohio State, same thing, right? So I mean, yeah, but they're more often than not, like the freshmen that are gonna play early and often are gonna be skill position players, not D line. More often than not O line. I mean, you might have a D lineman that's situational as like a pass rusher or something like that, but he's not going to be an every down D lineman coming in. So to the point of recruiting 32 kids, and then I mean potentially I don't know what USC's roster size is right now. Can I get an AI? No, motherfucker. What? Motherfucker, no. Okay, I guess they just give me the football roster, but they don't tell me. Okay, this, I mean, if this is correct, it's saying their roster is at like 98 going into this year. So adding 32, that might actually somewhat make sense. Right? I mean, they might have 20 kids leaving. 20 seniors slash, or not even seniors, but they might also have, let's say they have 15 seniors, but then they have 5 guys that transfer out or something like that. So then realistically, they're only adding 12, which still will put them over the realm of the 105, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I just brought up. I mean, I don't think these are. Maybe these are player numbers. Practice squad doesn't mean shit. Right. That just. I mean, typically practice squad means they are redshirting, essentially. But that doesn't. No. 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 If they have 20 on the practice squad, the roster size is still 120. Uh, well, I mean, like I said, the roster size doesn't have to be under 105 until I think it's 2 years from now. But essentially, so if they're over 105 right now, so if they're at 120, like Nebraska's at like 123, 124, somewhere around there. So we have to list players as our quote unquote like roster limit players. So they're not counting towards our 105 roster. And in turn, like I said, if they do transfer away and go to any other school, they don't count against those rosters either. But if you're bringing in a recruiting class of 32 kids, all those kids are going to count towards your roster. So, are you assuming that you're going to lose 32 guys this year? After this year and like into the transfer portal? Like I don't understand how some of these like big ass recruiting classes can happen in this day and age with the roster limits. Like that's where I'm at. Like I don't understand that. Well, I mean, either or. I think it's a shitty situation. But also, like, what I'm saying is, like, ultimately there is a roster. Like, they cannot. All right, so there's this one time right now that if your roster is over the 105 limit, that you could list people that are above that 105. It's a one-time thing, right? So you bring in 32 kids, you have to eliminate 32 kids to keep your roster at that 105 level. That's my point, right? So if they're bringing in 32 recruits this year and they only have 15 seniors on the roster, that open up spots. Now, let's say two of those 15 they listed on their extra roster size. Well, that means only 13 of them count towards the 105. So now you got to cut 20 players from your team just to get you below that 105 level. That's what I'm saying. Is I don't know how
they have 23 seniors.
So they have 23 seniors. So realistically, they're probably going to have to eliminate 9 other players.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what I'm worried about, right? Because I hate to see that for players.
It could also be a thing. Well, with USC, they could be. I mean, I would find it a miracle if they kept everybody on that class.
Yeah.
So as the year goes on, kids are going to drop out, or they might say to a kid, "Hey, we don't have a scholarship for you anymore." Like maybe they're 3 stars.
Right. Yeah, because they have what was it? 2 5-stars, 24 stars, and then 10 3-stars. So maybe they start eliminating some of those 3 stars. I see that.
Yeah, and maybe they're just like saying, "Hey, everybody, just come on in now. We'll just hold you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it looks good to the other recruits. Like, damn, look at all these people wanting to go to USC. I don't know. Yeah, but I get you.
Then again,
how do you realistically bring that many people in every year?
I was gonna say in that same aspect, that's kind of a shitty way to do it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right? Because you're telling this kid, yeah, well, I mean, you got a spot here. And then you get to November, December, and say, "Hey, sorry, man. Like, with roster limits, like, we're gonna have to eliminate you from." And this kid hasn't, been talking to other schools for 5, 6, 7 months because he thought he had a spot with USC. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It seems like a shitty way to do things, and I mean, I don't know if they're doing it shittily. Good word, huh? Shittily. but I mean, like, realistically, eh, come on, like yeah. I don't believe they can keep that many kids in the recruiting class. And same with Georgia. Georgia has 31 right now committed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be offshore myself.
I think we're done. Like, I just wanted to bring up like the NIL just for a short bit, but we can kind of recoup this next week or whatever. Oh, what? I'll have to send you what I sent Humble. It was a Mike Leach soundbite. Um, literally talking about like incoming recruits signing them to a like they would sign a contract. If they decide to opt out of that contract, they pay back the remainder of the funds. Similar to like if a coach signs a contract with a school and then goes to another school, that school pays the contract, right? The remainder of that contract. Similar to that, as well as he had a interesting thought on transfer portal. Um, Humble and I didn't agree with it on the transfer portal, but it was interesting nonetheless. And not pay the student loan. You still got to pay the student loan. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I hear you. Hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I just think it's a matter of time. Obviously, everything. I mean, we were thrown right, but I mean, we were thrown into the NIL model. Like, I mean, just literally out almost out of the blue. One year, and it's just been almost like the snowball effect, and they're trying to get themselves out of that snowball, right? And I think it's just going to take a little bit more time before they actually get out from underneath the snowball. And I think they will. I think they will. But well, it wasn't the NCAA. It had nothing to do with the NCAA. That was all fucking Congress. Congress was the one. But I don't know if they could. To be honest with you, I don't know if they could. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if they could. I don't know if they could. To be honest with you, I I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if they could. Right. That is such an outdated NCAA model. That was drafted back in like the 70s, 80s, bro. Like, yeah, that was way before NIL was even a fucking concept. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the NCAA is the one that fucked this up. Yeah. Yeah, the NCAA is the one that fucked all of this up for college football, to be honest with you, because they weren't proactive and they weren't ahead of this. they knew Congress was gonna fucking pass this, and they didn't feel the obligation to get out ahead of it. So they've been just sitting back, and now they're scrambling, trying to figure out a way to, a way to get this, corralled a little bit. So it's not just, a mad dash, and same thing with the transfer portal. They fucked up on that too. Yeah.
Later, Pete.
Yeah. Otherwise we could be keep